Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight, as well as streaming on the weather page of our website, ktalnews.com, with a quick update on what's ahead of us weather-wise. Going to dive a little deeper into the thunderstorm threat that is on the way for tomorrow evening. Show you the latest, or at least the afternoon run with our system here. The ArkLaTex evening run is just now coming in. Just took a look at it. It's a little bit different than the afternoon run, and I'll kind of point out those differences and show it to you as well. And of course, we'll talk about Friday. The bigger disturbance of the two will be Fridays. It is quite possible. In fact, there's a decent model agreement that the worst of it is going to be well to the northeast of us, but we're not out of the woods yet, obviously, so I'll discuss that. And once we get past Friday evening, maybe even Friday afternoon, we're done for a while, as it looks like smooth sailing weather-wise next week. That's what's on the docket. Of course, I'll, as usual, grain of salt time, take you out a couple weeks as far as potential temperatures here across the area. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away. I'll be more than happy to answer. And if you just want to say hello, that's great too. It's tradition to start off by saying hello. So Brian is first on board again tonight. Hello there, Brian. Rusty, good evening. Betty, I'm going to try, Betty, best I can. Bonnie, hello. Lewis, good evening. Aaron, greetings. Kaylin, it's low, Kaylin, and I'll discuss that, and it's not for everyone, and I'll show you the latest on that as well. Mary, hello. I agree. I don't want any of that stuff either. All right, let's get started here. Got a lot to talk about tonight, so you can see the sunset crystal clear in Shreveport this evening. So let's move on and show you the weather pattern that we are watching as we have this disturbance, which is now moving into the desert southwest. You can see it right in here. This is what's going to move a little bit to the north of the ArkLaTex here during the next 24 to 36 hours and bring with it the chance for some evening thunderstorms tomorrow evening. National view, and you can see what's going to be happening here is that we will see, again, the clouds, probably some low clouds with the south wind that we're anticipating for tonight. Much of tonight will be mostly clear. And then you can see the area of low pressure in Oklahoma, its associated frontal system, which is going to slide its way eastward through the area. We're not going to see a drop in temperatures behind this system, as basically as Pacific air behind it, so it's actually going to be warmer, believe it or not, on Thursday. But you can see we'll take a break, and then here comes that next disturbance on Friday. So you can see where that area of low pressure, and that low is really going to crank up. And you'll see the winds, the arrows get bigger as that low intensifies, and it does appear as if the low is so far to the north that the worst part of the severe weather, obviously we're going to have a pretty big severe weather outbreak somewhere in the country Friday. It looks like the worst of it will be well to our north and east. And you can see as we move into Saturday, we're pretty much done here. We'll have to keep an eye on this front. If it does not move as far southeast and east as anticipated, a little bit of rain and some thunderstorms could be possible here on Saturday, but right now most models don't show that as too much of a possibility. So let's take a look at a deep dive on what's ahead for tomorrow. Let's see who else is tuned in here. Let's see. Matt, hello. Eric says it's now 66 in Coburn, Oklahoma, west of the ArkLaTex. We're still in the 70s, Eric, here. 75 in Shreveport, as you can see there, 71 degrees in Texarkana. Jane, hello. Rusty. Norm, you're right. I mentioned to him last week that the models were showing some, so he's probably getting some. I like that you say Norm. Matt, what's Houston look like for tomorrow? Doesn't look too bad in either case. Matt, I'll zoom out and you can see you're not even in the risk area for tomorrow, and you're not really going to be impacted by Friday's storms either. Here, our main threat is going to be over the northern sections of the ArkLaTex, and especially northeast Texas and southwest Arkansas. The earlier run of both the ArkLaTex and Futurecast that I showed during the early newscast did have another cluster kind of sneaking somewhere close to I-20 or a little bit south that would be obviously worth watching, but the majority of the activity will be across the northern part of the area. And of course, slight, when we talk about these severe weather outlooks from SPC, that basically means that if you look at the severe weather reports, wind damage, hail, whatever, they're going to be somewhat scattered. So that's what the slight means. The green area, they'll be more isolated, and then you start to see more of them in the enhanced and moderate risk areas. And we don't like seeing the high. They're very rare to see those. Very rare that we see more than one or two in a year. So that's how unusual it is to see a high as far as those risks. But here's a look at Futurecast. I've looped these for you, so you'll see this over and over again. And this loop goes from about 5 p.m. tomorrow to 3 a.m. Thursday. So you can see that it is going to be after sunset that we will see the rain move in. And you can see Futurecast kind of increases things as these storms move into and through southwest Arkansas, and then points to the north and east, as Futurecast keeping most of the stronger storms a little bit further to the north than the afternoon run of the HRRR. Speaking of which, here is the afternoon run of the HRRR. Again, the evening run is still coming in, so that's why it doesn't get delivered into my system until all the hours are done. And it's still coming in, so can't show you that just yet. If it were still God's time or daylight or standard time, I would be able to. But nonetheless, you can see the afternoon run did show a pretty good concentration of the storms in southwest Arkansas, and that one little area that moves along I-20 is a possibility as well. So that is the HRRR. So again, the highlight in that slight risk area. So SPC does have that just based on this model information drawn pretty well so far. And here is the latest. I'm going to move the browser over here and show you the HRRR. This is the evening run, so it is still coming in, but it's gone out far enough where I can show you what it's depicting. And you can see this is 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, just starting to develop to our west. And you can see the intensification there. This is 9 p.m. and you can see it's mainly over the northern parts of the ArkLaTex, and that's where it stays. So the evening run of the HRRR keeps pretty much all of the rain north of the Arkansas-Louisiana line, as you can see here. So that is the timing. And again, this basically goes from 7 o'clock to about, that would be 1 o'clock. So that's the window, about a 6-hour window there where some thunderstorms will be possible. The HRRR, as far as the tornado possibilities, this is basically what we're looking at here, and you can see these little swaths that show up. This tells me that, again, we're going to have to watch the northern part of the area. Tornado risk is looking low, but it's not zero. Obviously, when we have the bigger, we see more colors in these, but nonetheless, the tornado risk is not zero. The main issue is going to be wind and hail with these storms, and I'll get to those here in a second. All right, so that's the very latest from the HRRR. The difference is it kind of takes out the activity further to the south in East Texas and Northwest Louisiana. Here's I showed you the rotation potential from the HR evening run. This is the latest run from Futurecast, also showing, again, a little bit of tornado potential, albeit on the low side for the northern sections of the ArkLaTex. And again, when I look at this, I don't look at exact paths here because obviously no model is that perfect or good, but general areas. So this kind of both highlighting the northern parts of the area. That's if we have any issues with spinners, that's where it looks like. And this is where the afternoon run of the HRRR had those same swaths. It did show a little bit of rotation if that's storms were to develop in East Texas, but right now it looks like the chances are highest further to the north. Hail potential, this is the latest run of Futurecast, and you can see the increase there. And notice there are some areas of black, and the HRRR does show that we do have the potential of seeing some quarter-sized or larger hail, especially over the northern parts of the area. So might say quarter to half dollar size might be the extent of the hail size possibilities that we could see across the area. Here's the afternoon run of the HRRR. Again, I've taken out all the colors except for those that are at or above 40 miles per hour. So again, damaging winds also going to be one of those issues. And as you look at this, you can watch these areas here. Notice this area kind of goes like this. So this basically at a certain time, it shows you, and then it waits till the next hour. All right, so you can see that this right here could be a swath of winds, but notice it does have the winds here of 40 to 60 miles per hour as a possibility with some of the stronger storms. So again, damaging winds. Also, hail damaging winds, probably in that order, the two main issues, and then that would be followed by the tornado, the small tornado threat that we have for tomorrow. All right, let's see who else has chimed in here. And let's see. Donnell, hello. Hopefully you're doing well. Jessica, in case I didn't say hello to you, greetings to you. Matt, you're welcome. Yes, Aaron, you are in that, again, farther north you live in the ArkLaTex, especially north of the Arkansas-Louisiana line. That's where the latest model information is showing the chances for the stronger storms will be at their highest. Look who's here. Someone mentioned Norm, and look who shows up. Our good friend Gary, a.k.a. Norm, is calling from Palm Springs. Are you getting your rain? Oh, only light rain so far. Doing well, Gary, doing very well. And I'm glad you're at least getting some rain. And this is the disturbance here that is impacting Gary there in Palm Springs, California. And let's take you out at 10 days here, and you can see that is what's going to give us the shot for the rain and thunderstorms tomorrow evening. We take a break, and then you can see the much more intense upper level low, which is negatively tilted. I pointed this out last night. It does have this negative tilt. If you draw a line through the axis, it is tilted towards basically up left to down right. That is negatively tilted, more conducive to whenever you see that, you tend to get decent severe weather outbreaks when it's warm enough, and that's definitely going to be the case. And as I put this into motion here for the rest of the period, watch, first of all, notice where things initialize here. This is the GFS near and east of the ArkLaTex, and watch this area here. All right, boom, there it was. So we'll see that rapid development Friday, basically afternoon, evening, and then we will see very quiet weather this weekend through pretty much all of next week. Now, yesterday models were hinting at a possibility for some rain sometime in the Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Pretty much all of them have taken it out now, so it looks like, as of right now, smooth sailing weather-wise next week. All right, let's talk a little bit more about Friday, and you can see the severe weather outlook for Friday from SPC. Again, this was issued last night, early this morning, and before obviously all of today's newest information, but they do have a slight risk for most of the ArkLaTex. I suspect, based on the latest, we may see this shaved off a bit more to the east with the newest one that'll come out tomorrow morning. And as I zoom this out, I'm going to do this on a national scale here. You can see the area that is going to be most concerning, basically from Little Rock to St. Louis to Memphis to Paducah. That is going to be the area of where we could see the most widespread severe weather. And don't be shocked if this is extended a little bit further to the north as well. So that's what it looks like as far as Friday's severe weather from SPC. Now let's show you instability, and you can see this is 1 o'clock. And you can see we have good instability at that time here, but doesn't look like we'll see much as far as rain yet. And by the time we get to the latter part of the afternoon, the boundary moves through, we lose the instability. So it does look like, this is again the GFS model, that the storms probably will initialize east of us, but possibly if we're going to have issues Friday, it's going to be Betty, maybe you in El Dorado, but maybe even to your east. Magnolia, Minden, the eastern edge of our viewing areas where that risk will be highest. And you can see how things kind of continue to stabilize over most of the area. Now, all right, so this is a loop from Futurecast from basically noon Friday. And you saw the instability and that the fact that there wasn't anything here. All right, so this should loop. Did I not tell it to loop? I thought I did that. So I'm gonna play this again. Just a second. I can make this loop. So give me 1 sec. I thought I put that in there, but I apparently didn't. It won't take me very long. And okay, we should be good to go. Fix that. Move that over. Save. That's the advantage of doing this here. I can make these adjustments on the fly as you watch. So again, did this quick edit, and you can see the loop. Notice at noon, everything's eastern edge and how it moves out, and then we are kind of quiet otherwise. And then I'll zoom this out and you'll see what's going to happen. In fact, let me just do this on, well, I can't do that since it's looping. All right, so I'm going to zoom this out and you can see the Futurecast has all the storms, again, probably Memphis and points north as far as the stronger storms on Friday. So it looks like that upper level low is going to be, definitely models are a little bit further north than they were yesterday, which is a good thing for us. So it is quite possible that we may dodge a bullet. Now, obviously, that's just the trend in the models today. We'll start to know more tomorrow as far as Friday, because the ArkLaTex, the high-res models, will start to go out that far. Futurecast will go out that far. I'll be able to show you what it's showing in terms of the hail and the rotation and all that kind of good stuff, even the wind, tomorrow evening, and should be able to drag over the browser for the ArkLaTex as well. So I'm optimistic that we may dodge a bullet at this point for Friday. And to kind of give you some more evidence of that case, here's this is created the Weather Prediction Center, meteorologists there, 7-day outlook. Notice hardly no rain at all in our area. This includes tomorrow's disturbance as well as Friday's. And notice all the greens and yellows right side of the screen there. Basically, that's where the storms are going to be strongest, both Friday and Saturday. So this is further evidence that we are okay for Friday. This is the blend of all the different models in terms of rainfall. Very similar numbers, just a couple of tenths, maybe a quarter of an inch because of tomorrow night's storms over the northern part of the area. And here's a breakdown of model to model, and you can see the agreement here, which is also very encouraging. There's not a model that has 1.5, which is, there's still some possibility. They're all pretty low. So that is, again, very encouraging that we may be okay for Friday. So that's what it looks like in the longer range. See if we got any other questions. Let's see. Tomorrow, as of right now, Kaylee, the worst for tomorrow evening looks like it's going to be north. And again, we should be done, midnight, 1 o'clock nonetheless. And Friday, I think it'll be long gone by the time you go to bed Friday night, based on the current information. So you should be okay. Let's see. Glenda in Pleasant Hill, Oklahoma. Hopefully you got the information you needed. Let's see. All right, so let's move on and go longer range here. And Gary, I'll take a look and see if you got goose eggs from here on out in a second. But you can see here at home, nice and warm. Look at the 87 Thursday. That's probably a bit too warm from the European ensembles. But you can see the cooling trend, very similar ups and downs to what I showed you last night. We cool off, upper 60s, low 70s, warm up, another little surge of cool air late next week, and then we warm up again. But notice, no lows in the 30s, most highs in the 70s and 80s. So this will take us through, the 25th of March. So we're almost through the entire rest of the month of March. So it's looking more and more promising that we have probably seen, at least in Shreveport, our last freeze. GFS ensemble is very similar. Not as warm, obviously, for Thursday, but you can see the cool down this weekend. I have 70 for Sunday, and we'll cool off late next week. I do have a couple of days in the 60s, Thursday and Friday, and then a warm up that will follow. So looking pretty good here. Once we get past any issues slim chance that we have any, the weekend looks great. Next week looks great. We might have a little bit of rain the following weekend. We'll see. Some of the models hinting at that for next weekend, Saturday, I think it is. But obviously, that's a long ways away. Again, this is grain of salt time. Anything past a week, got to take it with a grain of salt because things do tend to change some. All right, Gary, what are your numbers? What are you looking like for Gary there in Palm Springs? And it's getting late, and I got to get going. All right, so Gary, let's take a look at your, what in the world is this? Am I looking at the right spot? Yes, I am. Palm Springs, you got some rain today. It's showing another inch to 2 inches Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that next system, Gary, may bring you some more rain late this week. That's the highest number I've seen. 2 inches by Saturday is what this set of ensembles is showing. Now, granted, it's also showing 7 inches of snow. But nonetheless, it does look promising. You'll get some more rain later in the week. And as far as your temperatures, Gary, 60s for highs Thursday and Friday, back up to the 80s by Sunday, and then pretty close to 80 for the rest of the 2-week period. Lows most nights will be in the 50s, minus 45 Friday morning. So that's what you have to look forward to, Gary. It looks like you mentioned some light rain today. Looks like you might get some heavier rain later in the week, if that is correct. And again, we'll see. 2 inches is a bit much, I would think, even for you. All right, I think I've pretty much covered everything. Carly, you're probably looking at that evening right after sunset. Some storms begin to move in. Get to midnight, you should be okay. Hail, wind, the biggest issues. There's a low end chance for spinning storms, but it's something we'll be watching for. All right, so Gary says, hooray, or Norm says, yes. No, you know what? I mentioned last time you were here, Gary. It's been so long, I forgot about it, that when you showed up, I was supposed to start playing your music. So there you go. I'm a little bit late. But here is tonight's offering, and I do have one. You know, is Big B in here? Yes. Oh, Big B's behind me. There, you see him back there. So Big B he was telling me about this. He has his friend from North Korea, of all places. And one time he asked him what he thought about the leaders in North Korea. And his friend told him he can't complain. Big B says that's a good one. All right, well, that will pretty much do it for me tonight. Again, let me very quickly show you the forecast here. I got to get my clicker going as I kind of skip that. Again, tonight, looking at temperatures, probably 50s for nighttime lows for most of us. Clouds begin to move in late. And then tomorrow, we're looking at a pretty nice day, actually. Partly cloudy by afternoon. Highs back up close to 80 for most of the ArkLaTex. And you can see the 10-day forecast. I do still have a little bit of a chance of rain for Friday, but right now it looks okay for us. And then smooth sailing after that with highs most days in the 70s. We could cool into the 60s late next week. Well, that will officially do it for me tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to tune in tonight at 9 on Fox or at 10 on NBC6. I'll be back tomorrow night with obviously the latest on the storms, unless we have tornado warnings or stuff like that. I'm on the air. And, of course, I'll have more details on Friday tomorrow evening as well. So until then, get outside tomorrow and enjoy the sunshine if you see some, and have a great Wednesday. Good night.